All right, class. 6th graders, this is exciting. We're going to talk about adding integers today, and we're going to be using this for the next 2, 3, or even 4 years. We're going to be learning about and practicing adding positive and negative numbers. Okay? So this is a really important lesson. And we're going to look at this lesson in a few different ways. One of the ways is to use number lines. Another way later is to use models. Okay? But to start off, think of it this way. If the numbers have the same sign, you simply add the numbers. Think of it, for example, if it was 5 degrees outside, and you added 2 degrees, it's 7 degrees, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah.
But if it was negative 5 degrees, and you added negative 2 degrees, meaning that it went down 2 more,
It'd be negative 7?
it'd be negative 7 degrees. The number 7 is there in both. However, since both negative 5 and negative 2 are negative, the answer is more negative. Okay? Another example would be if you had negative $10 in your account, and then you spent another $10, then meaning that another $10 would go out of your account, you'd have negative $20 in your account. It would be more negative.
How do you get negative $20 in your account?
If you spend more than you have,
So it's negative 10
It
minus
is.
10.
no, it's, or negative 10 plus
Plus negative.
negative 10.
But
Yep.
negative 10.
Negative 10 plus negative 10, right. Okay? Now, the trickier ones are when they don't have the same sign. Like this. If the numbers have different signs, then you have to find their difference. And it's really the difference of their absolute values. Do you remember yesterday when we talked about absolute value? Absolute value is how far a number is from 0. Negative 5 is 5 spaces from 0. 5 is also 5 spaces from 0. So the absolute value of those numbers are the same. Well, when we're thinking about adding, what's the absolute value of negative 5? Is 5, right? And to find the difference between the absolute value of negative 5 and 2 is 3. But since negative 5 is 5 spaces to the left of 0, our answer is going to still be in the negative. See, let's look at this number line. Negative 5 plus 2 means 5 to the left of 0, and then 2 back to the right.
Negative
Where do we end up?
negative 3.
We still end up at negative 3. Right? What would this number have to be? What would that positive number have to be in order for us to get past 0? In order for us to get past 0, in other words, add a number that would end up being positive, what would that number have to be? Noah?
6
It'd have to be 6
or more.
or more. 5 or more, yeah. Right? To get back to 0 would be 5, so 6 is the lowest integer, positive integer. It'd have to be 6 or more. Something past 5 in order for the answer to get back to positive. What about this one? Here we're starting with positive 7. Find positive 7 on the number line, right? Now, if we added negative 9, it means we're going 7 spaces back to 0, and then 2 more spaces past 0. 2 more spaces past 0 takes us to negative 2. So 7 plus negative 9 is negative 2. Okay? Everyone understand? Let's go to some models. Thinking of it this way. When you're modeling addition of positive and negative numbers, you have to think of it this way. Each pair of positive and negative equals 0. Okay? They cancel each other out. So, if we have 5 negatives, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we add 4 positives, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we pair them up, this is 0, this is 0, this is 0, this is 0, and we're left with 1 negative. So the answer is negative 1. Okay? Let's go back to what we talked about with absolute value, because it says the difference of their absolute values. Okay? And that's the way that the book the language that the book will use, is to find the difference of their absolute values. So, what's the absolute value of negative 5? 5, we talked about that. That equals 5. And what's the absolute value of 4? That's 4. Now, find the difference of 5 and 4. 1. 5 minus 4 is 1. Now, to answer this, we have to use the sign of the bigger absolute value. Since negative 5 is a bigger absolute value than 4, we have to use this sign in our answer. That makes this negative. So that means that negative 5 plus 4 is negative 1. So there's 3 different ways to look at these problems. Okay? 3 different ways to understand adding positive and negative. Sam?
Would that be negative 1?
5 minus 4? Well, that would just be 1. 5 take away 4. Right. But their absolute values, the difference of their absolute values is 1. Okay? So that's what that means, is the absolute value of negative 5 is 5. And the absolute value of 4 is 4. And so this 5 minus this 4 is 1. And that gives us the answer. When we start working with bigger and bigger numbers, that's when this concept will be more important. Okay? Let's do some together. Open up your books to 9.2. And this is about modeling. Now, when you're doing these, you can just use that plus sign and minus sign for your models, okay? So in number 1, it gives you 4 plus negative 1. So write down 4 plus negative 1, okay? I'm on page 257, okay? Now, write 4 plus signs and 1 minus sign underneath it. Circle these 2, and then write 3. Okay? 4 pluses, 1 minus. Circle these 2, and then this shows that the answer is positive 3. Now, notice that I didn't write plus 3 here. And that's because when you're writing positive numbers, you just write the number that we've been writing since kindergarten. Okay? But if it's a negative number, you have to put the minus sign in front of it. So we'll get rid of that plus sign. Number 2, do the same thing. Negative 5 plus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minuses, 4 pluses. Circle these. Negative 1. Okay? Now it seems like a lot of writing. We're not going to do that many of these. And it really maybe takes you 15 seconds to write out all of this that I just wrote. So it's not that much. Okay? Use the model right now. So everybody is comfortable with the model. Okay? Is everybody comfortable with the model?
Yep.
Great. Then, let's go on to page 259. Go to page 259. On 259, they have some number line problems. So here's how you'll show the number line problems. Number 1. And it gives you negative 6 plus 4. Here's what I want you to write. Negative 6 plus 4. Copy that. Underneath that, draw a number line. Okay? Draw that number line right now. And mark 0 in the middle. You're going to have to do this on a test or a quiz, so that's why I'm showing you exactly how to draw these number lines. Okay? Now, start at 0 and go to negative 6. So we're going to draw an arrow to the left. We're going to mark that spot as negative 6. Okay? Then, you're going to make another arrow up above that. From here, we're going to go plus 4. Notice that it doesn't go all the way back to 0, does it? Where should it stop?
Negative 2.
At negative 2. Circle negative 2 and write negative 2. So copy that down, exactly like that. The first number is a move to the left. The second number is a move to the right. Okay? What if we had to do one like number 3? Page 260. Number 3 just shows us the number line, so I want you to draw that number line. I'll draw it like this. Mark 0. You don't have to mark all of the other numbers, but just start an arrow going to the left and mark negative 3. Then it says that it shows another arrow going to the left again, and then it marks negative 5. So what is happening? It's going down. So what are we adding?
5.
Garrett?
Is it negative 3 plus negative 2?
Yes, it is. Yep. This is negative 3 plus negative 2 equals negative 5. This is a move of negative 3 and a move of negative 2. Okay. Any questions on the number line model? So if it's a positive move, it's moving to the right first. And then if it's a negative number, you move it back to the left. Or vice versa. Sam?
If number 1 is, that would have been 6, would you go right first?
Yeah, then we'd go right first to 6. If this was positive 6 plus negative 4, then we'd go positive 6 to the right, and then back negative 4, and we'd have ended up at positive 2.
Wait, can you do, is it commutative where you can like for that problem do 4 and then 6 back?
You could, yes. As long as there's a plus sign, you could change it around, right? So, that's a good question. If we were doing this problem down here, but it was 4 plus negative 6, then it would be 4 plus negative 6, and we would end up at the same answer, wouldn't we? Yep.
Does that work for everybody?
It works if we're adding, yep. If you're adding two negative numbers, or if you're adding plus and minus, you can switch the numbers whenever you're doing addition. Okay? Yep. Good question. All right. So we're going to do some practice problems for tomorrow.